Hello and namaste. Welcome to this session where we are going to animate the object for the first time. I am sure you are excited, and let us not waste any more time in just getting on to the job straight away. What we are going to see today is the stage where all this drama unfolds. That is the timeline window. We will also see how you can animate and what are the different attributes you can animate in a given object. And the sample object, we are going to keep it as default, the cube which is there. Coming to the timeline window, this window is, like I said earlier, is the stage to all this drama which we create in animation. I call it drama because we can actually move the object the way we want to, and the object will perform. The window just below the 3D view window is the timeline window, and you all already know about it. This is able to display the frames of the particular animation. Like you can see right now, it starts at 0, there is a dark green line on the left hand side, and it goes up to a position which is between 240 and 260, which is 250 frames. By default, every Blender scene will start with 250 frames. We can change it obviously, but let us not go into that detail right now. What you need to know is that the time cursor is showed using this green line. If you left click anywhere on the timeline, the time cursor will move accordingly. You can also drag this left click and move it anywhere. There is another way to know which is this frame, and that is why the timeline window has two major components. The components on the top of the timeline window is this area which will show you the position of the time cursor. The area below this is a scale which will show you the numbers of frames, but the strip below that will have more information about the timeline. For example, it will have the start frame and the end frame of the animation, which is right now 1 and 250. It will have the next tab which will show you the current frame. This is the most important tab right now, although it comes right at the bottom of the screen and it is very small in size, but this is going to be crucial for us because every time you animate, you have to animate or change the position of that particular object on that particular frame. To go to that, this is the place to go. So this particular tab, small tab which is right now showing 91 there, is the current frame, and by double clicking that number you are able to change this. So I can double click and use the number keypad, delete the first number whatever it is there, and you can insert whatever number you want to. Like I press 1 and press enter, it will go to frame number 1, right. Now there is a control area on the right hand side of this current frame. The panel will have similar buttons like in any media player. You can play, pause, rewind, you can step backwards and forward. So this is an important utility when you create an animation and you want to see it or review it. That is the time you can use this panel. Of course, like any other action, even this panel has a keyboard support, and we will talk about it later. Now that you have understood the construction or the entire composition of a timeline window, we are now going to start how to animate our object. One important point you should all remember, planning will add efficiency to your animation, and therefore we request you to spend more time on the planning, and we will also tell you how to do that. Let us now look at some of the common words which we are going to use in these lectures, so that you know that this jargon means something very specific when we talk about Blender. In terms of Blender, a keyframe is the particular frame which stores the information about the position and the transformation applied to it. Now, this is to be remembered whenever we are working in Blender, because we have to make sure that we apply all the transformations and the position changes before we insert a keyframe. You also need to know what is the initial state of your animation and what is the final state of your animation. The state here means what is the position of the object at the start of the animation, and the final state is where it will land up after the entire animation is over. Just keep remembering these kind of words because we will be using it repeatedly. There is a slide on this called glossary, you can refer to it if you are not able to note it down right now. So, do not worry, use the slide. When you do animation in Blender, there is a simple 3-step procedure. The first step is to go to the frame number where you want to create a keyframe, that we call it as set current frame. The second step is to apply whatever transformations you want to apply to the object. That can be in terms of position, it can be in terms of size, the angle of the object, anything. Apply all the transformations which you want to apply to that object. That is the step number 2. And the step number 3 is to insert a keyframe by which you tell Blender that make these transformations available at this particular frame number. Once you have done that, this particular procedure can be repeated over and over again to add any number of keyframes in the given animation. Let us now start with our favorite cube which is there in Blender and see how can we do it. Like I said, let us first set the current frame. You can see that we are at frame number 1 and we do not have to change it because we want the animations to start from frame number 1. But in case you are on some other frame number, for example, your cursor is somewhere here. So, you can see that we are on frame number 91. We have to go back to frame number 1. Just go to the current frame box, double click it, delete 91 and press 1, it will go to frame number 1. One important tip at this point, whichever window you are, if you press the keyboard buttons of arrow on the left and arrow on the right, then you can change the keyframe number using that. For example, like you see that I am going forward and gone to frame number 4 by pressing the right key, and I can come back by pressing the left key to frame number 1. So, this is a tip you can remember and use it anytime you want to. But coming back to the point, we have set the current frame at frame number 1 right now. This is the position where we have to animate our object. You can see that we have right clicked the object and it is selected right now, it is orange in color, the outline is showing orange, which means that it is selected. We have to now go to step number 2 where we have to apply transformation. For this particular small test, I am just going to move the object slightly. You know how to grab the object, press G and move it anywhere you want to. For example, I just put it on the left corner now. If I am okay with this transformation, I want to say that this is the position where the object should be in the frame number 1. For this, the step number 3 has to be applied of inserting the keyframe. Like all intuitive shortcuts of Blender, even this is clean. For inserting, use I. The moment I press I, there is a huge panel which drops down and it will ask you which particular thing you want to lock here. Now, I have only changed the location, I have not touched for the rotation of the object or even for the scale of the object. So, I will select location as the first option available there and left click on that. You can immediately see that on the properties panel on the right hand side, the box has turned yellow, which means that we have inserted a keyframe, and that is why the color has gone to yellow. If you now change the frame number 1 to frame number 2 by using your keyboard arrow, you can see that the box is not yellow anymore, because this is not a keyframe. But when you go to frame number 1, you can see that it is yellow because this is the keyframe, and these are the changes in the x, y, z locations of this particular object. For this particular animation, let us go to frame number 20 and click on the current frame and make it frame number 20, press enter. Here I want to place the object in some other position. I use G and lift the object and place it on the right hand side now. If I am happy with this position, I have to do the third step now, which is inserting a keyframe. I press I and select location. The moment I do that, again you see that the transformations are seen here and the particular location panel in this properties panel becomes yellow. If you move your green cursor on the timeline window somewhere else, you can also see that there are two yellow lines now, which denote that there are two keyframes on this timeline right now. We have the animation in place already. How to see it? Well, I have told you the shortcut for clicking this, but the keyboard shortcut for that is Alt A. If you press Alt A, you can see that the animation is moving. You can see that the animation starts playing from frame number 1, but after frame number 20, the position of the cube gets locked and it is showing a static frame till frame number 250, which is quite boring. Let us press escape to stop this animation play, and in order to make it easier for us, let us reduce the size of the duration of this particular animation. For this, let us go to the end frame, double click there, and instead of 250, let us make it 25, because we have our keyframe on 20. You can immediately see that the timeline shows a reduced patch of the lighter gray area for only 25 frames now. We have shown this earlier, and I will repeat that you can use your scroll button in order to zoom in into the timeline window. But whenever you zoom in, remember that it can go out of frame. So, use the same middle mouse and drag it in the center. Once you are comfortable with the viewing option, you can see that the total duration is 25, and there are keyframes at frame number 1 as well as frame number 20. This looks slightly manageable now. Let us now play the animation, and this time we can use the controls given on the desktop by clicking the play button, and now I can see that the animation is getting played. This is a very rudimentary and a very basic way of animating this. I hope you have understood the steps. I will repeat it once again for the benefit of the viewers. Set the current frame, apply the transformation, and insert the keyframe. So, these are the 3 steps you need to remember for doing any keyframe insertion in Blender. We will now see how we can insert keyframes for different transformations, including rotation or changing of the size, what we call it scaling.